and do that. So hopefully it is going live. I am trying to go live on Amazon. It has not always worked for me correctly in the past. We're definitely going to give it a shot though. All right, so let's take a look here. I am going to, let me just make sure that everything is going on here. Yay, Amanda says it's working. I'm so excited. I have to say it's been a struggle. I've been struggling trying to get it working, but yes, I'm so excited that it's working for you on Amazon because just FYI, I am going to be creating a weekly live stream on Amazon where we will talk about new kind of like cool stuff inside of the app where they have this like new section. And I'm going to try and do it weekly and we can talk about like, is this something I would even buy? Is this something I'm interested in? Anything like that? Because I think it's just kind of fun to sometimes have that conversation. Okay, so if you have questions about these microphones as we're going through, I hope you let me know and I will do my best and hopefully I can see the questions and then we'll be able to go over it. So the first mic that I was ever introduced to when I was, actually that's a lie. I have several mics actually back here. They are the handheld microphone types, which are the PG58 and 48. Hi, Chris. Hey, how's it going? And I guess I could actually get those mics just so I can show you. Let's see here. If I can see where I put them. 1 second. 1 second. I thought I was so prepared and ready to go live, but I was not. Okay. 1 second. Stay with me. All right. Let's see if it's in here. All right. All right, so this is actually the first mic I was ever introduced to when it came to Shure microphones. I didn't know much, but when I went online and I asked people, I said, what is a good one? What isn't gonna break the bank? And they kept telling me time and time again to come back to this guy. This is the PG48. There's also a PG58, which seems to be a staple when it comes to microphones. Now, this has served me tried and true for a very, very long time. Oh, see you later, Amanda. And the nice thing about this, as we go on, I don't know what it is that when did people stop putting mute buttons on microphones? I just don't think people should do that. I know that some of these high-end microphones, including this one that I'm talking on right now into, which is the SM7B, that's what I currently use right now. That's what you're listening to. There's no mute button on it. And this little guy is probably $50, $60, and it has the entire mute switch, but I digress. So this, who remembers a mic like this? And if you saw on the bottom, it has an XLR input. So it's the little round plug with the, it's the little round one at the bottom. And so you'll have a separate type of XLR cable, which means you usually have to run it into some sort of audio interface. And I remember my first one was the M Fast Track USB one. I still have it. It's funny, but I still have that. Now I use the Scarlett 2i by Focusrite. And so everything that I'm talking about, I think I have linked in there. But if you're looking in particular, the Focusrite hopefully now is being on screen and demonstrated. I need a place to put this. I'm going to try and get my little phone here so I can see what's happening. Hopefully, is that still in the way? You can still see it? Okay, or not. Okay, so this one, great. It does not need any kind of power preamp thing to it. Like I just plugged it into my interfaces and it worked. That was the great thing about it. These are little workhorses. They're kind of heavy, so you usually have to have some sort of stand or something with it. But the nice thing is you can plug in an XLR cable, a long one, and kind of run around the stage and all that good stuff. Then when it came into a smartphone though, so we're going to talk smartphone and then we're going to talk camera as and computer. That's the order we're going to go in. This was the first time I was introduced to a Shure product for a cell phone, and this is the Shure MV88. Now, not to be confused with the MV88 Plus, which we're also going to be talking about, but this is the MV88. So it has this little windscreen on it. And if you take that little guy off, it has an adapter. Hopefully you see it like this. Now, what was interesting about this one, it was iOS only because it had a, a lightning cable adapter at the bottom of it. So you could plug it directly into the bottom of some of your iOS devices, which was great, except for the fact that if your case on the bottom had a particular like style or cutout and it wasn't shallow enough, then this would interfere. So you'd end up having to take off the case just to plug this in, which was a big pain in the butt. Also, what was weird about this, it had an articulating elbow like this. You can see where it comes down all the way to basically a 90-degree bend, but it doesn't actually swivel and articulate the opposite direction. So for you to be able to have it go the other way, you actually had to unplug it from your device, turn it around, and then do the flip, which is not that big of a deal, but it just isn't that convenient sometimes to think about which direction is it facing. So quickly, if you're in the middle of recording, let's say, and you have a phone that is plugged in and you're doing something like this, and then all of a sudden you need to turn stuff around, you would have to turn it around, unplug it, and then turn your camera around, which wasn't the best. But can we say it sure does pack up really, really nicely, because this is the travel case for it. I mean, this is perfect. You toss this in your travel bag and I mean, it takes up hardly any space at all, which is fantastic. Now, that also being said, Shure has a really great app where it's called the Shure Motive app. And you can go in there and you can make tweaks and you can change polar pattern or, the type of pattern that this does, because it can be a cardioid, it can be a stereo, it can be, so it's just a really great versatile mic. But again, the downsides are that it's only available for iOS. It only works if you have certain types of like phones or cases. You do have to pick it up and swirl it around if you want to have it go in a different direction. So that is kind of the skinny on this. They decided to do an upgrade from this, and that's why I said don't be confused between the MV88 and the MV88 Plus. Now the MV88 Plus, I'm going to try and hopefully highlight it on the screen. Okay, we'll just get the model number because there's something funky with that can't be right. Okay, but basically it looked like this. So this isn't the exact same phone case that was on it because I replaced it with something else, because one of the limitations of that particular phone case was the fact that it only had an orientation that was going to support you doing landscape videos. And if you guys know me, then you would know that I absolutely love vertical video. And so I stuck on a different type of mount with a cold shoe adapter or hot shoe mount or whatever you want to say, that made it so that you could swivel and turn your product also into a vertical orientation. Now, they also packaged it with basically what is a white labeled Manfrotto Pixie stand. And the only difference is instead of Manfrotto is they actually printed Shure on the leg of it. So it's basically a Manfrotto Pixie with the Shure labeled branding on it. Okay. Now, if you've never used the Manfrotto Pixie, this is actually a really great type of travel tripod because it does have this articulating ball head at the top. You press down on this button and then you can swivel around. I don't want to do it because it makes a noise on this particular one, but just know that. The only thing that's bad, though, is that it never will go completely vertical or horizontal. So then you have to add some sort of mount or switch so that you can then rotate your phone into the positions that you want. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, one thing that's really, really different about this mic, and take this off, it comes with a little mount, and so you can put it right in here and you can mount this on top of any of your adapters that are going to have that adapter, the cold shoe mount on it. So the way that this works, very, very similar, has the same type of windscreen, but you'll also notice this no longer has an articulating head or one that rotates at all. And they have now their left and right, they've labeled that. So if we're looking in comparison to the other Shure microphone, this is how they look. Now you're like, why is this one so much longer? And why does it just look completely different? So they've done a few things when it comes to the 88 Plus. One of the first ones is that they've added a headphone jack for audio monitoring, which is fantastic because with the other model, you would just have to record some audio, hope that you had your settings correct, play it back later, or do some testing. This one, you can actually listen and monitor as you are going, which is great. So it has the 3.5 millimeter plug for that. It also has a micro USB basically ending here. Now, what's really, really cool about what they've done is instead of having the lightning adapter at the bottom, they now have it so that you can use a variety of cables. So they have a micro USB to lightning, a micro USB to USB-C, and a micro USB to USB-A, which is like what you see on your computer a lot of the time. So that meant that the possibilities for this became a lot more infinite than the others, because now all of a sudden Android users can use this. Now all of a sudden you could use this on your laptop. You could use this for a lot of other devices. So if you think about that, the versatility of this all of a sudden became a lot cooler. Now, the downside is with all of that great responsibility, right? And such, it came with a lot of extra baggage, literally. So there's all these extra cables. There's a carrying case. There's, you have to have this mount. So if you don't have a way to mount this, there's no way to really attach this to your phone without literally just kind of like carrying it around and holding it like a dum-dum. So that isn't the best. So you really have to plan ahead when it comes to this. Like, it has to have its own way to attach to something to be sitting in a position so that you can use it comfortably. So here it is. Like, you could have it here. I have done and used the MV88, the previous version, not the Plus, as a podcasting mic when I was doing a project called Podmas, where I was doing a podcast every day. I was able to record the audio off of this mic, and it sounded just as good as other mics that I was using. I was able to do it while I was traveling. And this was a really, really great way to have a mic on the go that worked with tons of different devices. So I would highly, highly recommend this guy because it's so versatile. It's not the easiest as this one is to pack up because it literally has way more pieces. But I think for the little bit of extra money that it is, it comes with the stand, it comes with the phone holder. I think that there's more possibilities with this. Both of them sound great. They both use the same app, which is the Shure MV, the Shure Motive app. So they're both really, really good. Okay, moving on. This is I know, and that's why I called it's the Shure Microphone Showcase, because we're just talking about Shure microphones. In this one, I also have a whole bunch of Audio-Technica mics, and if you guys want, we can also do an entire episode that is dedicated to the Audio-Technica mics. I also have several Rode mics, so if you wanted to do a separate episode on that, we could also do that. This is the Shure MV51. Not only is it like got this cool retro vibe and feel to it. I love this so much. It's really, really heavy and I love it. And yeah, you can use it on an arm. You can use it just basically, it has this rubber tip on the bottom, so you can basically stand it up like that. And then this piece actually just folds down. Not the easiest to do, but you can actually just kind of fold it closed. One nice thing with this, you can also, I guess I should highlight it on the screen, right? There we go. The Shure MV51. Basically, I will usually unplug this because it just screws off, and then you can then use the regular microphone stand plug, and I prefer to do that or use an arm, a microphone arm. Now, one thing that I love about this, it's like a large condenser microphone here, but also headphone jack, right? All of these, it has the micro USB, and again, with this micro USB function, you can hook it up to an iPod, an iPhone, an Android phone. So you can use it with USB-C devices. You can use it with on your computer with just a USB cable. You can use it with a variety of things. Now, this is not as travel friendly, let's say, as one of the other Shure little mics because it's really heavy. It's like, it seems like it's got some definite weight to it. It feels like it's made out of metal. So it may not be the most fun to travel with, but this is also one of those types of mics that you can do it all with. One nice thing, instead of going into the app, you don't have to. I mean, you can, but it has the touch screen basically on the front where you could go through these different types of scenarios, whether it's spoken word, music, that kind of just a straight without any audio processing. It has all of these options here, and it has a quick mute button. Again, quick mute button. It's so important. It's so important to have this. I have to say, I wish more people were doing this. Okay. That one, it used to be more expensive. Now I usually see it and it has a little bit better of a price on it. It's now cheaper than the ones that were for the cell phone, right? Isn't that crazy? Love that. Love that for it. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, I can't see them, but if you do, let me know. And then maybe I can try and find them. We'll see. I don't know if I can see what your guys' questions are, if there's a way to do that. Mentioned in a comment. Oh yeah, let me see. Let me see if I can see a comment. Oh, it says basically go Shelly. That's the comment. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Thanks. Thank you for that. All right. So next, we're going to talk about the Shure SM7B, which is the microphone I'm currently talking into right now. And so let me see if I can pull this one up. This microphone is kind of the gold standard when it comes to podcasting and doing a lot of maybe streaming or stuff like that. And I can lift it up here and show it to you. Hopefully it's not too loud. Looks like this guy. So obviously you can see that I'm using a microphone arm on that guy. But one thing that I will say, it is a beautiful sounding mic. Cons of it, first of all, the price. It is very expensive, guys. It's pretty pricey. It's pretty pricey. Another con to this microphone, no quick mute button. And another con to it is going to be the fact that you basically have to use an audio interface for it, and it has to have a preamp in it. So when I use this mic, I also use a cloud lifter to basically raise the decibel level so that you can hear it more clearly. I also use the audio interface, like I mentioned before, which is the Focus Scarlett 2i. This is not something that is going to be a great travel mic because it's heavy. It really needs a lot of moving parts to make it work and have it be set up correctly. So this would never make it versus like the Shure, like pack it all up in a nice cute little tote here. But the benefits is like, seriously, it sounds so good. It just has a really great way that it sounds. So I love that so much about it. Now, whether that's worth it to you for all the additional stuff that you need to go with it, that's going to be up to you. But I have to say, I really, really like it. Efrain Lopez, hey, how are you? Thank you. Now I have confirmed that the chat actually works because I see that in the chat window. So that means I don't have to go and obsessively look at it on my phone, which is what I was doing. Okay, so is that most of the mics that I wanted to talk about? We have talked about the Shure SM7B. We have talked about my original love. I have two of these. I have the PG48 and the 58. I have the Shure MV88 Plus. We've got the 88 and the 51. I think we went through that so quickly. I am proud of myself. That was tip-top pat on the back for that. So I hope if you have any questions about the microphones that I am using, if you want an episode on, like I said, the Audio Technicas, I've got the 2050 and the 2100. Don't quote me on that. It's the 2035 and the 2020 Audio Technica mics. I also have some opinions on the Rode mics. We've got the Rode Video Mic Pro. We've got the lavaliers, and I've got some other mics. Or if you just want to do a mishmash and throw them all into a blender and do an episode on other mics, let me know and I'd be happy to go into that. Otherwise, if you have any other questions, make sure you drop them. And thank you for tuning in with me as I was experimenting again with going live on Amazon. Like I said, I'm going to try and be doing a Tuesday hour-long Will I Buy It Amazon cool things. So that would be cool if you want to tune into that. I hope you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you in a video very soon. Bye, guys. And